Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PlayStationGL for some more F3 action here in Season 26. And it's time for one of the new tracks on the F1 2020 game. Formula 1 making its return to Zandvoort for the first time ever on an official F1 game. It is the Dutch Grand Prix. I'm Luke Etheridge. Alongside me tonight is Sam Thompson. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. And yep, it is back to the Dutch Grand Prix, of course. Max Verstappen, the only Dutch driver on in real life, and possibly a huge factor of why this track has come back to F1. But this is an interesting track, isn't it? Very, very tight, very fast flowing as well. And you can overtake here, but it's very difficult. And these drivers will find it difficult tonight, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. Very technical circuit, much changed since it was last in Formula 1, like as I said, way back in 1985 when Niki Lauda took his first victory around here. A lot twistier, one of the shortest tracks on the game, and the banked corners really make it quite interesting. Turn 1 obviously being the main overtaking opportunity around here, and it's a good job as DRS. And it's a bit like Mugello yesterday. It's an old-fashioned circuit. You put a wheel off the circuit, there's not a nice tarmac runoff area. There's some grass, there's some gravel, and you're going to have a big mistake and possibly a big accident.
Yeah, we saw some big accidents in F2 earlier tonight. Of course, Gonnanen, I think he may have dipped his tyre onto the grass, and it's very tight and narrow around this track, especially after on the last few corners are set to free through that area, and then it's very tight through there. You've got to turn left, right, very slight dinks as well, and you know, if you make the wrong foot and you go onto the grass, your car's going to be sent into the wall, and that's you gone pretty much. But very, very tight around this track, very tricky to overtake in qualifying as well. It's very fast flowing, and like you said, comparing it to Mugello, that's like I was, a lot of fast and medium speed corners, not really any low speed corners as such, not really many overtaking opportunities.
No, definitely not. We are on board then with Lars, who crossed the line first again last time out, and again he didn't get the victory because of penalties, but we'll talk more about that in a bit as he's heading now just through the start of the second sector. Very technical this, but you need to be careful. He's invalidated his lap actually already, and that's what we're saying. It's easy at that part of the track as well, especially when you come through turn 8. It's easy to just cut that corner a bit too much and invalidate. Also, as you run onto the banking, perhaps running out of turn 1 as well, very easy to just run wide, and again, that will invalidate your lap. So, thankfully, it's a short lap for these drivers, so they should have plenty of opportunity if they do make a mistake in qualifying. As Ginger, he's first man to set a lap time then with a 108.513. We'll watch Zach try and get across the finish line, and he goes a 108.587 as well. So we've already seen from Lars, it's easy to make a mistake around here that can ruin your lap, and fortunately for him, he's going to have to go into the pits. That's probably a set of tyres wasted.
Yeah, that definitely is a set of tyres wasted, and yeah, unfortunate for Lars, really. He's been very quick this season. Of course, he's won 3 races on the track, but due to penalties, he's just not been able to get those victories, and well, he needs to learn from his mistakes, and he needs to make sure that he's getting the results and keeping those penalties low. But he's lost some tire. He's lost a tire compound now, pretty much, and he'll have to go onto another set of softs probably, or if he wants to go onto the mediums, if he has gone a balanced or harder tire compound setup. Yeah, invalidating is quite easy around here, but it depends where you're on about. If you're pushing hard, you can definitely invalidate. If you go a little bit wide at some corners, it's definitely an invalidation here. And of course, it's so crucial to get a lap in so early, so you've got a nice feel of the track. And if you don't get a lap in early, you've lost a complete run compared to everyone else. So everyone's more familiar than what you are at that point.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, someone who's going for a bit of a different strategy and leaving it later is Koala, who, if you weren't with us last time in Belgium, you missed a fantastic final few laps towards the end of the race. Late rain and a late safety car. Most of the cars came into the pits. Interestingly, Kalsper and I believe it was Black Phoenix decided to stay out on the dry tyres. That turned out to be the bad call. Black Phoenix finished last. Carlsberg, the championship leader, retired, and it was left to Koala, who on penalties picked up his first podium and then first victory, obviously, as well, of the season. He's just gone up his 9th in this qualifying. Unsurprisingly, given the lead that he had, Carlsberg couldn't be caught up. He's still leading the championship. He's now 15 points ahead of Zach. Lars is then in third. Sorry, he's on 33, just 3 points behind Zach. And it is, Carlsberg's still got that lead at the top, but there's a lot of drivers now starting to show good pace. They just need to maybe show the consistency over the next few races. Lars are definitely, he needs to just clean things up, because 3 times he's crossed the finish line first. He could be in the situation Carlsberg is, with a pretty healthy lead in the championship, if he'd have just missed out on a few more penalties. Yeah,
and Carlsberg at the moment sitting in 7th. For Zach, he's had a brilliant start. You've got to think he wasn't even here for Austria. In Hungary, he probably had a bit of a shamble race, perhaps. I'm not sure what happened to him in Hungary. I can't remember that far back. But look at that, 3 podiums in a row, 3rd, 1st and 3rd. Keeps up the consistency, and if Carlsberg makes another mistake in this race, we could actually see Zach lead the championship if he wins this race, and Carlsberg ends up, DNFing, being outside the top 10, or even, of course, if he finishes 10th place, and Zach was to get the fastest lap. So Carlsberg's got to think about this now. His fastest lap was set on the medium tyres, though, a 1:08.9, which is a brilliant lap time from Carlsberg, and we'll be seeing more of that from the soft tyres. We should be looking to get into the low 8s at least with the McLaren driver.
Yeah, definitely. Just to give you a comparison then of the lap times we are expecting around here. Pole position in F2 was a 1:08.055. Pole position in F4 was a 1:08.402. So anything in the 1:08.2, 1:08.3 range you probably expect for pole position, as it looks like it's getting a bit less overcast and the sun's starting to come out a bit. That might help heat the tyres up a bit more at the start of the lap, but maybe you'll wear them out towards the end. Lars has gone into 6th then on a 1:08.717. As always, incredibly close. You've got the top 10 separated by half a second at the moment. Now we're on board with Lars' teammates, Kuhn. It's not really gone to plan for him so far this season. He's only done a couple of aces, and he nearly loses it there through turn 7. Yet to finish a race. Both of these Mercedes drivers, you could say, we know they've got pace. Just needs to start coming together a bit more for them.
Yeah, and Cohen has definitely got pace. He had a little bit of problems at the start of the season since he was absent for the first few races. I mean, I am aware why he was absent, but obviously I don't really need to say it's not really any people's business. But yeah, he's quite unfortunate on that one. And of course, DNFing from the races, he has participated in. Well, that's quite unfortunate as well for Cohen, and he needs to get something on the board here in this race, otherwise it could be really any sort of hopes of a really good season down the drain.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see what Carlsberg's doing then as he's coming through the first sector then at the moment. Is it an improvement? Yeah, obviously 2 tenths up on his previous best, so this might give us an idea what sort of deltas to expect in these conditions. Obviously the weather has changed ever so slightly, it's got a bit warmer. Obviously there's a bit of track evolution, so Carlsberg could easily go fastest here. You'd expect him to find that half a second that he needs, and already 0.445 up. That would move him pretty much into pole position by 100 of a second. So expect this to be a fast lap from the man who's taken 3 wins so far this season and 3 pole positions. Last time out in Belgium was his first pole since the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it is a 1:08.281 for Carlsberg. He's been fantastic so far in qualifying this season. In, as you can see, the new liveried McLaren, we've got that We Racers 1 rainbow branding on the car, and you'll notice a few other cars have a few slightly different liveries in the updates as well. So Carlsberg's gone fastest. His teammate Toxic at the moment is in 5th place, and those two at the moment have helped McLaren to the lead in the constructors. They are on 60 points. Ferrari on 44. As you said, Zach had a fantastic race last time out, and Super Mario as well. He even admitted he got a bit lucky with that timing of the safety car. His mediums were on 80% when that safety car came out. Another lap or two, he'd have been well in puncture territory.
Yeah, and Super Mario is similar to Cohen. He's not really had the season of flyers. I think last time, though, it was definitely a wake-up call for him. He's finally woken up a little bit. We'll have to see what lap time he can do, though. in today's event. But like obviously 4th place, it's a big booster in confidence for Super Mario, and you know, it's some good points for him and the Ferrari team as well, who seem to have woken up now, especially for both drivers. But Super Mario is sitting slowest at the moment. Let's see what lap time he can do, as he's now coming through into Sector 3 now. He's a little bit up, but nothing really to change his position. He's 2/10 down on the next driver ahead simply, so right now Super Mario not enjoying the track, and it's not really using all the limits of the track. He didn't look that quick compared to Calsper through there, and Super Mario I think has struggled really with this lap, and yeah, it's a 9.2 again, and he's still stuck in 15th, and for Super Mario it's a little bit back to normal for him, and he'll be hoping to improve that lap time, because he looked like he just wasted a little bit of potential really, especially through that Sector 3.
Yeah, definitely lots of there was time to be found during that Sector 3, so perhaps not enjoying this very technical circuit. We'll see what Boss Wanted can do. He finished 10th last time out. He was 10th before that lap. Goes up into 7th position. So with 7 minutes remaining, it is Calsper and Zach, your top two in the championship, top two in qualifying. And Lars, as you said, yeah, he's spun coming out of turn 1. Trying to see, has he done any damage? Oh, he's been disqualified from the session. That is unlucky.
Well, I mean, I don't really know what to say. Some of these bugs on this game, I wouldn't really call it a bug, but, you know, that's really unfair. For someone like Lars at the moment, it's really unfair, and I don't really know what he's done out of turn 1, but whether he was blocking the pit lane or not, I don't know, because you can come out outside of turn 1, make a mistake, and that's you spun. Koala's doing something interesting here. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's letting someone by, I believe, but yeah, really unfortunate for Lars, and I think he's been unfairly disqualified, but I don't really think there's anything we can do really furthermore from that. So unfortunately Lars will have to go at the back of the grid, even though perhaps it wasn't exactly where he would have finished, or potentially he wouldn't have finished if he finished in his normal position. So really unfortunate for Lars, but he's just now got to fully concentrate on the race. He can't really bicker with it, he can't really argue with it, he can't change the rules or anything. I mean, he's just going to have to live with it, and unfortunately he'll be starting at the back of the grid, now 17th, not 16th, because Calzo's joined. Yeah,
Calzo has joined, so Calzo, the lowest he'll be starting, unless he gets disqualified, will be 15th, because Bugatti has a qualifying ban for blocking Cherry Tupai last time around. His teammate now, Black Phoenix, he heads towards the finish line, moves up into second, less than a tenth behind Calsper, 108.368. That puts the Williams up into second position. Got a few more people heading on the lap as well. Toxic, he's just gone into 4th place. Cherry Tupai coming around the final corner. What can he do in the Renault? Stays in the 7th position for now. And Cherry, he had a fantastic start to the season. Got that podium in the first race. He also got a podium in the pre-season race in Mexico. But since then, for one reason or another, it's just not gone well for him whatsoever. And he'll be hoping to show that he's got some good form, because we know he's a very quick driver. We've seen that previously. Last year he was only a reserve in F2, but we've seen it in Formula Performance, the normal car performance league. He's a very quick driver, and it's just not gone well for him.
Yeah, for Cherry Tupai, of course, like you said, he was reserve in F2, so we didn't really see much of him last season. This season it started off brilliantly with a podium, of course, and you know he's just dropped off since then, especially from his teammate Pitmat as well, who was 18th in F2, similar probably to Cherry Tupai, in a similar position, didn't really race too much, but you know, Pitmat has failed to get a podium so far. They've both been really in the same boat, but I mean, Cherry Tupai has been very inconsistent, but Pitmat's been consistent, but it's just not been there to get a podium. But both these guys have got their best results from Austria, so perhaps maybe they were going into the season a bit naive, saying, yeah, we could win this, we could be at the top, we're fighting at the top now, and well, unfortunately for them, they've kind of backed off a little bit now, and Pitmat isn't even here tonight, so that's a little bit of a concern for Cherry Tupai if they ever want to look get in the constructors still. Right now they're 3rd in the championship, and they're not far off it, 15 points. Oh, sorry, not 15 points, 25 points off it, so it is a little bit of a margin. Still possible to track back from, but Yeah, unfortunately for Pit Matt and Cherry 2 Pie, the season's just gone a little off the rails at the moment, and they probably do need to pick themselves up a bit.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to see if Cherry 2 Pie, with the reserve driver tonight, Young Power, can do everything. Calsper's managed to go even faster than just about squeezing into the 108.1s with a 108.199. You can see most of the drivers now are out on circuit, getting ready for their out laps, all in the pit lane. They'll be coming out soon to start their final runs. Calzo, what is pretty much going to be his one and only attempt. I think he's just doing a bit of a second warm-up lap, but I suppose that's one thing you can get away with around here. Obviously, with being a shorter circuit, you can sort of get away with doing an extra warm-up lap just to get used to the circuit, just to burn a bit more fuel off, and you're not going to take too much out of the tyres.
Yeah, you've got to be careful though, because this, I believe it's the front left, or front right, one of the front tyres. I believe it is the front left. They can get up to unimaginable heats very quickly. Like, it can go into the yellow if you look at the temperatures on there. So the degradation on that front tyre is going to be really poor. So really, on this installation lap, I would want to call it for Calzo. Like, he would definitely want to be going quite slow through the corners. He's now going on to his actual lap. I believe, yes, he is. So he'll be starting that now, and hopefully he can get in a good result.
Yeah, he'll be hoping for that. Down in 15th place. Was actually second in the championship before last week, but didn't score any points in the last two races. Missed Belgium, 11th in Spain, so he'll be hoping to get his campaign back on circuit. Most of the field then, but all of the field that's still got a chance of setting a time, is out on circuit at the moment. Koala, he's just started his lap, so who's going to be the last person to get a chance at doing a lap here? It's going to get very crowded, obviously, because it's such a short circuit. They're going to be fighting for space. You really don't want to get stuck in the dirty air of everyone. We saw Chevy 2 by manage to get blocked by a couple of cars the last time out, and you can see here, looking as though he's about to put an overtake on Super Mario. This could get very messy very quickly with how close some of these cars are.
Yeah, and Cohen decided to back down from it. He's right at the back of it. And they've got some time, really. I don't really know why these guys are really rushing. Cohen here just making sure his tyres aren't too warm, not too cold. He's making sure they're perfect and everything. He's got the time to do that. These guys have got the time to do that. And looking in front, it looks like we've got a similar scenario, really, perhaps to Italy a little bit with the two McLarens. But Cohen just keeping his tyres warm. He will be the last one to go on to an actual lap. He's got time, and now he will go for it. So hopefully now the run to the line should show where everyone is, and good luck to all the drivers going on to their final lap. Yeah,
both the Red Bulls travelling extremely slowly as well at the moment. They're going to need to hurry up because they've got Young Power coming around on a flying lap at this moment in time. So Young Power is going to come across the line now. Let's see what time he can do. Currently in 10th position, not too far behind his teammate time-wise. Manages to go just ahead of him into 7th. One of the Ferraris coming across the line at the last minute. Zach goes up into 2nd position. So great lap by Zach to try and secure a front row slot. We'll have to see if he's doing so though, because Ginger, he's improving in his time. Is the Alfa Romeo going to look for sister team? You were saying?
He has. Cherry 2 Pie spun, that's what's happened. It's at turn 9, and he's come on awkwardly there. Got to be careful with the McLaren coming on there, but yeah, he's spun and he's out of the session, it looks like. Owen then is he's not the next driver. We've got Super Mario first to get through the final corner. Let's see what time he's doing. Is he up or down? I think he may have been compromised by the Renault, and he's got to 13th, so he's improved. The two McLarens coming across. A look at that from Calsper. 8.1. What about Cohen? Moves up to 9th place there, so that is pretty much finished because Cherry 2 Pie is going to come into the pits. Young Power's finished, and so is Loney. So that is qualifying over now.
Yes, qualifying over, and for the 4th time this season, 4th time in 6 races, it is Calsper who's going to be on pole position. Black Phoenix and Ginger 2nd and 3rd, both managing to get within a 10th of a second. And judging by the standards of this season, that's actually quite a sizable gap between the top 5, with Zach on a 108.295 and Loney on a 108.585. So if we see that in the race, those front drivers might be able to get away and build a bit of a gap, and everyone behind them might have to try something a bit different, or maybe hope for the safety car or maybe hope for some wet weather because Zandvoort is pretty prone to it.
Yeah, and I've been quite surprised of Loney really recently. He's looked kind of off the pace. It's not helped that he's DNF'd in all the races, but like in Hungary he actually won the race on track, didn't he? So finished third in the end. But since then he's been nowhere, and like in fact we haven't even been speaking about him. So something's happened to the Red Bull driver that's obviously affected him in a negative way. But he's up into sixth, so it's good that he's qualifying decently well. But he's so far off Zach in terms of the pace of the next car. So really, it's all about the start for Loney. If he can get past Zach, it's a good thing. If he can't get past Zach, Zach may fly away. But this is only qualifying, and race pace is a completely different thing. A lot more management is involved. So perhaps Loney is specialised in race pace, while Zach probably prefers the qualifying pace. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows indeed. And it is looking a bit like it did at the start of qualifying. Very overcast once again. So you have to wonder whether we'll see the same as qualifying. Will we go towards nice, beautiful blue sky and sunny conditions, or will we get a bit of rain here at Zandvoort? Kasper, he's done it again. He's got another pole position, and he's going to be a bit annoyed at the way last week went. Let's be honest, his own mistake not to come into the pits and put intermediate tyres probably cost him a fourth win of the season and a much bigger lead in the championship than he's got all of a sudden. We were talking about maybe Kasper's beginning to run away with it. Now Zach's within one race win all of a sudden.
Yeah, but Zach's down in fifth place, so Kasper's got that pole position, so Kasper's on it again. Zach will be probably a little bit disappointed with his fifth place, to be honest. Like, it's a good position, of course, but he'll be disappointed considering he's actually in this championship fight. Lars, of course, in a similar situation. He's at the back of the field, so he'll be very disappointed with what happened to him, and unfairly what happened to him, I suppose. But, I mean, we've got that. All the guys outside the top 10 going medium or hard, except from Boss Wonders, who chooses the soft. So, interesting strategies between all the drivers here, and could be a really interesting one towards the end.
Yeah, we tried to guess the weather conditions in Belgium, judging by the tyres everyone on the outside of the top 10 had gone for, and they chose 3 different sets. And the same's happened here. Boss wanted on the softs, Vanderbrugge and Lars on the hards, and the other 4 on the medium tyres. So we'll just let Kasper take us around on a bit of a slower lap then of this Zandvoort circuit. And this turn 7 that he's just going around now, Sam, extremely tough. You don't want to carry too much speed, because if you start running wide and you have to slow down, that gives everyone behind you a fantastic run into turn 8, and that obviously costs you chunks of lap time.
Yeah, and it's a very, very quick corner as well. You can't really go side by side there. You've got to be very careful if you do. If you go side by side through there, we saw what happened in Mugello to Lance Stroll, and although he wasn't going side by side with anyone, but at a similar corner, which is basically flat out, he ended up going straight into the wall, and that's a heavy impact. And although this is a game, and you know maybe this doesn't affect the drivers, barely nothing really in terms of like weight or anything, but it can be a little bit of a shock factor still for drivers. So side by side, I wouldn't recommend it here because it's a very quick corner, and you know the corner really only has one line. You can't really go any wide, any deep, I suppose, but. Yeah, it's a difficult corner, that one. This whole track is very fast flowing, very tight, very close racing as well. Got to be careful on the first lap because especially the first couple of corners, tight corners, it's high speed, you're going side by side, and the people are going to be trying to get you around the outside towards your inside. It's going to be probably a mess a little bit on the first lap or two, but we should be fine. But just don't be surprised if we see a little bit of wing damage on this first lap in the first few corners.
Yeah, and that might change the strategy completely for a few drivers. Lars, he's getting into position at the back of the grid. He's going to have a very tough job to do if he wants to get another podium here tonight. So the lights are coming on here at Zandvoort for round 6 of the PSGL F3 season. And we are underway, and it's a good start, it seems, from Kasper. Ginger as well, getting it lit up off the line, maybe able to go all the way round the outside of Black Phoenix into turn 1, but I think Black Phoenix has just about held that position for now. As I think someone's had a big hit into the wall in the background.
I think that was Loney. Yep, he's got his end plate off, and yeah, that was a massive hit. I'm actually surprised and there goes and he goes again into the wall, Loney. So a lot of cars in the wall. There was a racing point. That must have been a Calzo. So a lot of guys in the wall early on, of course. And I said about this, like, you know, there's a lot of adjusting for position, and don't be surprised for someone to be smashed into the wall, and that's happened here with Loney and perhaps Calzo as well. But yeah, everyone, it was a decent start for most people, a bit of a funny start for some as well, and of course including Loney, who's just going to fall back a lot. But yeah, everyone's got respect for each other. It looks like out in front. No one really rushed or anything, and things look good out in front.
Yeah, I think I saw Zach get a bit of wheel spin coming out of turn 1. I know he's lost a place to Young Power, and I'm not sure whether that caught Loney out and that then sent the Red Bull towards the barrier. He's got big damage. I think Calzo and Bugatti with damage as well, but it's Calsper in the lead of this race, and it's great to see that the latest patch has got the timing tower working exactly how it did beforehand. But Calsper's leading, Black Phoenix second, Ginger third, Toxic fourth. They've stayed as there are. Young Power has gained a position, and there we see Loney is coming into the pit, so I imagine he'll be going for the hard tyres to try and stretch it out as long as possible and possibly make the one-stop work. He's only scored points in Hungary, and it's going to be hard for him to do so again here. You can see the Red Bull coming down the pit lane then. Black Phoenix managing to hold off Ginger, who got an absolutely fantastic start, but now it looks like Ginger's under more pressure from Toxic than he is able to pressurise that Williams at the moment.
Yeah, and Toxic, he's been like this with his teammate. He has shown good teamwork over the season, Toxic has. And Toxic has had potentially good results. We go back to Austria, where I believe he was on for a podium, but he made a mistake which caused him to be out of the points in the end or something. He's been rather good since then, and he's been getting the points, but he's not been raking up podiums or anything. Perhaps this is the chance, him sitting in fourth right now, for him to get one. But of course, Ginger at the moment will be trying to keep up with Black Phoenix, but yeah, Toxic is definitely not out of this one, and he might be under pressure soon from Young Power, who looks pretty good as well.
Yes, I mean, looking at the timing chart, all the way down to Calzo going to have DRS on the run into the chicane and also on the run into turn 1, so that's 15 cars in this DRS train, and Black Phoenix, he'll be hoping to get onto the back of Calsper to put him under pressure here in the early stages. And as the race goes on, we're going to see Super Mario, Simply, Vanderburg Lars, Calzo, Bugatti. There's probably not so much Loney, obviously, because he's already made a pit stops. The race will start to come to those guys, and they'll start working their way up the order. But with it being a DRS train, they might have to think about somewhere else to do it. I mean, we said this chicane is a DRS zone, and it is possible to overtake it to turn 11, but you've got to be very brave indeed, as I think Bugatti has been off the circuit. He's leaving a lot of dust behind that Williams, and it's safe to say last year's F2 champion having a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, he's not had the best race so far. He may have had an incident with someone, which is hence why he's so far back, but obviously with the spin as well didn't help, but he may have had an incident. Has he got wing damage, I wonder? I don't know if he has. This is a terrible camera angle for it.
I think I saw him get a bit on lap 1,
yes,
and yeah, missing part of his end plate, so he's decided to ditch them. I think he was just trying to cope, but he's going to have to go to the hard tyres, and that was way too fast into the pit lane. And he retires. I think we saw that coming, and Loney is around again in Sector 3, so he's having a bit of a nightmare as well at the moment. So Bugatti off, first retirement of the race. Then his teammate, things going much better for him. He's keeping that gap just underneath a second, and that's all he needs to really do to help defend from Ginger. Obviously, you can see that yellow fuel marker, so he's a bit low on fuel, but he might be able to save a bit behind Calsper if he does some lifting and coasting at the end of some of these straights, as Loney now pits for the second time and puts the soft tyres on. It's a bit early to go for the fastest lap strategy, but I think Loney, it's good to see that he hasn't decided to bite the bullet yet and quit this race. Further down the field, Super Mario made the medium tyres last an extremely long time last time, and he's just about staying in contact with Fox. Oh, that is Koala.
Oh my word, the Red Bull's not having a great season, not having a great race here. And at the banking, in the dry, you don't usually see that. You see it in the wet, people lose it at the banking. Quite often people make mistakes, but in the dry, it's easily flat out. So I don't know really what's happened to Koala there. I only caught when he spun, so I don't know if he's gone side by side with someone and then it's caught him out, or if he's just spun the car there. So an interesting one from Koala, but yeah, I've not really seen many people spin in the dry at the banking, so interesting one.
The only way I can think it could happen is if he's been a bit offline, maybe been on that inside curb ever so slightly, and he's just hit the overtake button, and that's added some extra power into the wheels, and he's spinning round. But yes, in the dry, that final corner is easily flat out, even as his tyres are getting more and more worn. And even at this stage of the race, with heavy fuel load, as see Black Phoenix just getting a bit of a twitch on there behind Carlsberg, so that'll make the McLaren very happy that he's safe for this straight. Ginger in third position, and it's a bit early yet, but some of these guys will start to think about the undercut, because they're stuck in this train at the moment. You can see no one can get close enough to really put an overtake on anyone, as Boss wanted down the inside of Cohen, exactly as I say that, and Cohen was pretty much the first one apart from Carlsberg who didn't have DRS. And there we go, the Haas driver up into 8th position at this moment in time, as Super Mario simply, the rest of those on the alternate strategy seem to have dropped back. Yellow flags again, and that is Loney out of the session. I think he's crashed it this time. Coming out, and we've got a safety car.
Well, this is interesting now, because Loney did go onto the soft tyres. Now, whether it was genuine or not, he possibly went onto the soft tyres because he maybe predicted that perhaps that was the best option. Obviously, I'm not going to predict it again, because last time it worked, but it didn't work as soon. We saw rain, didn't we? But it was kind of unpredictable, because some drivers were opting soft medium, and then we saw obviously Lars do soft, so we've got a mixed bag here, because we had Boss wanted to go onto the softs outside the top 10, which is quite unlike a driver to do so. And then you've got a bunch of drivers on the mediums and hards, which is fair, because this is a high degradation track, and the soft hard is the correct strategy, I believe. We'll have to find out here if anyone comes into the pits, and Zach does. So I'm now going to question what tyres will Zach go on to, and whether it helps if he goes onto the hard. So that immediately answers a question whether it's going to be wet or not. I reckon it won't now, because surely if there was rain to be on the way, they would opt for the softs or the mediums. So it looks like we've got a dry race installed, but obviously no confirmation as of yet.
Yes, either a dry race or, a bit like we saw in Belgium, rain right towards the end. So Zach, he comes out in 11th position. He'll now catch up to that safety car, which is back to its traditional silver colours, and hopefully we won't have any of the safety car chaos that we saw yesterday in real life. Although last time out, I think 3 drivers ended up getting 5-second penalties removed for incidents under the safety car. So maybe just leave a bit of a gap to the car in front to avoid getting yourself a penalty, especially when you're trying to warm your tyres up. So Carlsberg still in the lead. This will allow, I'd say this allows everyone to close up to him, but the gaps weren't really that big anyway. They're about half a second, 6/10 all the way down the field. Surprised to see Simply actually coming to put the hard tyres on, because he did start, I think he started on the medium, so not quite sure why he's done that at this point in the race. I thought he might have wanted to go on a bit longer, because you've seen Loney crash out on his own. It's very possible someone else could do the same, although that crash has helped Koala ever so slightly, because he'll be able to catch right back up to the back of the pack.
Well, of course, but you've got to think the hards should be able to make it to the end from this point. So he's put the hards on because he's going to the end. And thinking about it, this is quite smart, really, because the soft tyre drivers especially, they'll be coming in around 5-6 laps times, depending on their tyre degradation. But the tyre deg is quite high here. The pit stop for a soft tyre, especially on the safety car as well, is around lap 11, lap 12. So they'll be coming in soon. And technically speaking, Zach should be leading the way if they were to come in straight after the safety car. So a very smart decision from Zach. Boss wanted them, perhaps Simply as well, despite starting on the medium tyres. They've got off them now, and they believe that they could go to the end on those hard tyres, and Calzo picking the medium. So interesting strat for Calzo there. He's probably going to be looking aggressive to get by and then just control the pack, but the hard tyres should make it to the end, and the safety car dipping its wheels and its tyres into the process. So an interesting one, but should make it to the end, the hards. But I mean, interestingly, the hards will be off their rails at the end compared to Carlsberg's, Black Phoenix's, etc. So it's all about the restart for those 3 for where they may finish at the end of the race.
Yeah, they've got to get the restart absolutely perfectly. Calzo, he's probably either hoping for another safety car or hoping that he can get past this train of cars ahead of him. So he's going to have to really work hard in the first couple of laps before DRS gets active. As there we go, safety car in this lap, the lights are off, the safety car sprints away, and now it's Kalsper's turn to just control the pace. He should be fairly used to this. He's been in the lead so many times this season. Last time out in Belgium, he had no grip on them tyres and was pretty much out of the race before they got to Radion at the top of the hill. He's really slowing the pace. You've got to give the safety car enough time, obviously, to get into the pit lane. Quite a long way around here. As there we see Cherry 2-Pie and Young Power will have got themselves 5-second penalties, so they'll have to serve both of them at their next stop. Safety car then into the pits, and he's still not gone for it, Kalsper. He's still waiting. Still, now he's gone. Now he's put the throttle down. He's not really, well, he's bunched everyone up here and not really caught anyone out, but it's such a short run, I suppose, to turn one. They're not really able to do anything, as Toxic looked almost as if he was going for the inside there of Ginger. Decides to think better of it. Lars has managed to get ahead of Super Mario as well, and Calzo instantly moving ahead of Simply, which is what he would have wanted to happen, but it's all the same between the top 6-7 drivers at this moment in time, as Simply drops a bit further back behind Koala, and Boss Wanted dropping behind Calzo, who said he had to make moves in these early stages, and that's what he's doing. And it looks as though Kalsper maybe had backed the field up a bit too much, but to be fair, we didn't see any incidents and he didn't get past, so fair play to Kalsper. Decent restart.
Yeah, decent restart. I think it was Super Mario. Oh, Zach and Calzo getting very close, banging wheels, and there goes Zach then round. I think that was a bit of a love tap from Calzo. I don't really know who to blame for that one. It definitely isn't Zach's fault, but I don't know if I blame Calzo for it if it's a racing incident that's very small of content, and you've got to think he has the better tyres, so a little bit impatient from him. I just want to talk about Lars. This is really good news for him. He's now behind his teammate Cohen. Now Cohen could definitely play the teammate game here and maybe sacrifice himself a little bit perhaps. I mean, I know that sounds a bit bad, but obviously trying to keep up to Cherry 2-Pie as well, but the slipstream game will work for Lars, definitely, especially now where the crossover point is soon. Simply's in the wall. I think that's Simply. He needs to get out of there. We know what happened to Lars. He got disqualified from being there, so be careful for Simply, as he could get disqualified himself. But for Lars right now, this is a brilliant position for him, as he's now stuck in a train behind his teammate. And when the sooner DRS gets enabled, the better for him, really.
Yeah, definitely, especially getting ahead of Super Mario at the start, because you'd expect Super Mario to still have the fastest tyres on those 9-lap old mediums, and in fact Mario's now got Vanderbrug, who's all looking all over the back of him there at turn 10, but the Alpha Tauri's dropped back ever so slightly. This team earned their first points of the season last time out, thanks to Simply, but they're still at the bottom of the table, and Vanderbrug yet to get any points so far this season. He's holding on to that last point for now, but you'd imagine Calzo is going to be desperate to work his way up the order and get ahead. DRS enabled, so they'll be able to use it on the run down into turn 11 next time around. Still no changes at the front. Now the top four breaking away ever so slightly, with Young Power 5th, Cherry 2-Pie, teammate in 6th at the moment. And like you said, Cohen and Lars, 2 Mercedes running line astern in 7th and 8th. Simply must have got some damage in that spin earlier as he comes into the pits and he retires from the race. So we are down to just 14 cars here. We're only on lap 11. Might end up in a situation at this rate where everyone who finishes scores a point.
Well, that would be interesting, especially for Spanderberg, who still has to get a point, as you said. But if he stays in this race and we have 10 finishes, then there we go. He's finally got a point. Maybe not the most genuine way to get a point, but it's still a point. And here we go. This is what I said about Lars. He's now stuck behind his teammate. But the good thing is that he has the DRS. The tyres will go off now, so I wonder if Cohen will perhaps switch with Lars and get Lars moving forward up to the Renault as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because Cohen has now dropped more than a second behind, so this should be straightforward for Lars. In fact, we might even see Cohen head towards the pits, and indeed we do. So he's giving his teammate DRS, that's all he needed to do. Toxic coming in as well at the end of lap 11 then. Both of those putting on the hard tyres, and they will come out, I think, just behind Zach in last place, as Vanderbrug has spun. The Alpha Tauri is not enjoying turn 1 today. Doesn't look like he's got any damage, but he's down to 12th place, and unfortunately with the others pitting, that's basically a net to last position. But if he keeps it going, seen a few retirements. You never know what could happen. We'll have to see how the undercut works for a few of these guys, because despite having that spin, Zach's still not in the worst possible position, you've got to say. He's 11th at the moment, possibly a net 4th position, maybe even 3rd if Calzo can't stretch those tyres long enough.
Well, yeah, but the pit lane is very short here, and yeah, Zach should be fine, really. Maybe not in the lead, of course, like you said, but I just want to say something about Calzo's done what he needed to do. He's now caught up to the back of people like Super Mario. It's all about maybe nursing those tyres to the end now. It's going to be very difficult to make it to the end. Boss Wanted, though, is in a perfect position, really, as Calzo looking for a move. To the outside he goes. Is he going to get it? Around the outside. He should have the inside line next time round, and that is the move done. So Calzo, much better on those new, more fresh medium tyres, of course, but like I said about Boss Wanted, he's in a brilliant position right now because he's showing pace at the moment, and how he's right behind Super Mario, still assisted by the DRS, while Ginger, of course, wouldn't. Cherry 2 Pie definitely isn't either. Lars isn't, and Lars has got a pit, and Super Mario is, but he will be pitting soon, and it looks like Boss Wanted is quicker as well.
Yeah, so Boss Wanted, he really needs to try and work his way up. Doesn't want to get stuck behind Super Mario for too long here. I think they're both going to have DRS on the run down to turn 11. So despite the older tyres, that should still allow Super Mario to just hold on. Did see a few other drivers pick, Calsper, Black Phoenix and Young Power. And as you can see here, Calsper's come out in 10th position behind Svanderbug at this moment in time, who goes absolutely flying over that curb at turn 11. That's not going to do you back any good at all if you do that too many times, but you can see Zach still actually managing to stay ahead of these guys. Obviously though, Calsper's going to have fresher tyres later on, as Boss Wanted trying to go all the way around the outside of Super Mario. We saw Calzo do it last time. There's been a bit of contact between the two of them, and that might give Koala the opportunity he needs. And no, Super Mario just closes the door, but really struggling on those medium tyres, especially when you consider that Ginger and Cherry 2 Pie have done the same distance on the softs at the moment.
Yeah, and look at him, he's run out of DRS, he's got the flashing lights, only 5% left. Koala has 76% left, so he could just sit back and relax a little bit. Maybe, of course, he needs to get the overtake done on Super Mario, but obviously because he wants to keep up with Boss Wanted, but at the moment he's looking fine on the ERS, and if he wants another podium, this is the way he's going to get it, because Zach is 5 seconds behind, and he will be on the hunt, but he needs to get past Super Mario quickly to keep up with the leader.
Yeah, Black Phoenix and Toxic have now also managed to get past Svanderbug, following Calsper through, so we've got this bit of a train now behind Zach. Might find it hard to defend because it's 5 seconds up the road to Koala, so you can see Calsper, Black Phoenix and Toxic all in that at the moment. Ginger still carrying on another lap. I wonder if he's trying to get to a point where he can put the medium tyres on. It's definitely costing him time at the moment, but that could come good towards the end, as you see Cherry 2 Pie in the pit serving his penalty, and he's also put the medium tyres on. He will come out in last position, but you can just see from what his teammate for tonight's done, those medium tyres, very rapid indeed.
Yeah, they look very quick. They always do it around every track, the medium tyres. And, of course, Calzo getting well out of it as well, though. That's why he's using for the medium tyres. However, they do go up quicker. I'm surprised to see Ginger still out on the source. He needs to be careful. They may go away from him at any second, really, because the soft tyres go off very quickly. Once they do start to go off, they go off quite rapidly. If you look on board, like, the tyres look, they look worn out, and he's surely going to come into fitness this lap, because looking at Lars is not actually closing, Lars isn't, but he's definitely not losing time. So there goes Ginger. Lars is going to stay out now. I reckon he'll stay out to around lap 22 perhaps, maybe lap 20, and then he'll fit on the mediums, which, as you said, seem very quick, and look at Calzo closing right in on Lars. So Ginger going to the medium, so he's doing the soft medium strat. The mediums will make it to the end now, because they can make around 20 to 25 laps. So he should be able to go to the end now, slots himself in another position behind Black Phoenix, and well, he's got a lot of traffic ahead. He has got a tyre advantage, so this will be interesting to see now what Ginger can do.
I'm surprised he's not lost a lot more time, to be honest, than he has done. He's only 10 seconds off of Lars. He's still in the same position he was before all the pit stops started, despite going so much longer on the soft tyres. And I think part of that is Carlsberg's not been able to find his way past Zach at the moment, who just seems to be defending. You can see the Ferrari has plenty of ERS that he can just use coming out to the final couple of corners to give him that boost down the main straight, and then it's very difficult for the McLaren behind him to get past, obviously. So Lars now leading this race on lap 16. He's got Calzo behind him, just not able to get close enough either. Boss Wanted third, Koala fourth, Super Mario in fifth, and Super Mario pits off the medium tyres at the end of lap 16. So it's only Lars and Svanderburg who are yet to pit in this race. Vanderburg just in 10th place as Calzo taking that deeper line there into turn 3, and you can do that to try and get a better exit, but he's still not really close enough to Lars to have a go. And the longer it goes with him getting stuck behind, the harder it becomes for him, because you'll soon expect to see Boss Wanted, Koala, Zach and everyone else start to close that gap.
Yeah, watch for Ginger. He's on the medium tyres, looking very close to Black Phoenix there. He's been getting closer and closer right behind him, and of course Calsper as well, looking to get the move done soon, but just watch out for Ginger here. He's going to have so much more grip than Black Phoenix once his mediums are up to full temperature. Watch the exit here, let's see what he can do. Is he going to be close enough to launch an attack? Obviously with the DRS, no he's not. So Black Phoenix guiding off, making sure that there is no attack coming, and there is no attack coming, so Ginger will have to just sit gingerly behind Black Phoenix for now, but this train from Zach is not going to go away, but surely Casper is going to get a move done in a lap or two.
Yeah, and I think this is the closest he's been, and you can see Zach has got nothing to fight with at this moment in time. So Calsper up to 5th, Ginger in the background. It didn't matter that Black Phoenix had DRS, Ginger's still got so much more pace coming out of the penultimate corner at, I believe it is turn 13, that he's just able to carry that through 14. You over the DRS, he moves up into 7th, and it won't be long, you think, before he's moving past Zach either, and then starting to put starting to put Carlsberg under pressure. Sorry, and then after that it'll be Koala and Boss Wanted as Young Power and Svanderburg are going to nearly, I thought for a second they were going to brave side by side through turn 7. Svanderburg just decided to get out to the throttle there, hops over that curb to get himself a penalty. He's back down into 11th position at this moment in time, and very close to losing it actually as he comes through turn 10. Ginger still looking all over the back of Zach. Ideally needs to get this done before Zach drops out of that 1 second window. That would make it a lot easier. Then obviously it's going to make it a lot harder for Ginger to catch up to Carlsberg. So we can see if he can get a similar run as to what Carlsberg got last time around. And I think again, despite Zach having DRS, he knows there's nothing he can do. So straightforward for Ginger. He now moves up into 6th place, and Carlsberg will be his next target. And with the pace he's showing on those mediums and the pace we saw Calzo show earlier on, don't think it's going to be too much of a challenge for Ginger, and Carlsberg's best hope might just be to see how long he can hold him up for, and then hope it comes back to him at the end of this race.
Well, yeah, but I think the race win is out of contention. Maybe a podium finish isn't out of contention, but right now Calsper is flying right now, but Ginger is flying even more with that, and of course with the medium tyres you'd expect him to, but Calsper's been really good on the pace on those hard tyres. Yellow flags in sector 2, that is the Williams and Black Phoenix, so both Williams have not had the race of dreams. We thought Black Phoenix would have a good race, but he's now not really having a good race, so unfortunately for Black Phoenix he's now out of the points then. Of course Svanderburg and Lars are yet to pit. Calzo, I still would be very shocked if Calzo takes those mediums right to the end. They should be able to make to 20 to 25 laps. Got 16 laps left, and well, you know, he can only really stretch them around 14 laps at max. So expect to see Calzo in the pits unless we do see some rain, which I'm assuming that's what Calzo was thinking. Either that or Calzo didn't know the strategy. So I reckon this could be easily Boss Wanted now or Koalas. That still could be going down to these two, Calsper and Ginger, because there's no real confirmation really that the hards would go all the way, but they should do.
Yes, definitely. We just see some fantastic side-by-side action from Black Phoenix and Chevy Tupai. Great defending from the Williams to hold on to that 11th place, but now just frustrating the Renault. We'll have to give it a go again into turn 1 next time around. We haven't really looked at the leaders for a while. Lars still out there, 20 laps so far on those hard tyres. Probably going to try and stretch them for another couple, or maybe even another 4 or 5 laps, and to put the soft tyres on at the end. We'll have to see if that will work for him, because I think that will drop him out the points at the moment. Calzo, you can see now, he's not got that traction advantage that he had earlier on. And ever so slightly, Boss Wanted has begun to close up. He's now within DRS range of Calzo and just 1.2 seconds off the lead of this race. And crucially, I think for him, about 6.5 seconds ahead of Kalsper at the moment with 16 laps to go. So I think he'll be hoping Lars pits fairly shortly. Then Calzo won't have DRS, and you'd expect with the tyre age now, Boss Wanted probably has the grip advantage.
He does, but let's not put off Kalsper and Ginger. Ginger should be getting past Kalsper by now, though. He's 5 tenths behind. He should be much closer than that, really, now. And for that old mediums, he still should be way quicker than Kalsper, but he's not. He's sitting behind 5 tenths, just waiting. But at the moment, really, Ginger needs to wake up, because otherwise he's going to be stuck behind Kalsper for the rest of the race. So needs to get these moves done quickly, easily, as Kalsper went over that bump very aggressively there. So a little mistake there perhaps, as we do, we should now see a change of the lead now between Lars and Calzo to the inside. Not worth defending for Lars, it loses him time. Perhaps he could come back here as Calzo looks up a little bit, and yeah, it's now the change for the race lead. But how long Calzo can go is a good question.
Yeah, so now what does Calzo do? Does he go for it? Probably admit that he's not going to get his tyres to the end, possibly giving up any chance of decent points finish, or does he just take it easy, save those tyres, especially that front left through corners like this sequence here, 7, 8 and turn 9, and then also the final corners in turn 1 as well. That front left tyre really takes an absolute hammering, and we saw that happen in Austria, the cars getting late punctures. Could we see a similar scenario here? Boss Wanted, he's now within half a second obviously of Lars, as Cohen picks up a 3-second time penalty again. Doesn't seem to go in plan for the Mercedes driver. He's down in 13th, but could still have a chance of picking up a couple of points at the end of this race. And I don't think we'll be too long away from Lars and Vanderbrug coming in. Maybe now that Lars has been passed, you might think now's the time to come into the pits. No, staying out at least one more lap. So I do think Lars is thinking, I could take this long enough to put the soft tyres on. I'll probably get the fastest lap. And who knows how far up the field as he gets. Calzo's nearly lost it. And he says thank you very much. Lars takes the lead of this race, and Ginger and Kalsper battling as well. Coming through turn 2 at this moment in time. There's wheel banging between them. Ginger's got the inside line, and he's finally got himself ahead of Kalsper. So that is Ginger now up into 5th place. He's got another, 14 laps to try and find 6.5 seconds to catch up to Calzo. It's going to be tough, but in the final couple of laps, this could all start coming good for Ginger to get his first victory of the season, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. And Calzo's struggling so much on those medium tyres already. We saw obviously out of turn 1, he was starting to spin the car a little bit. He was on his side basically. Boss Wanted right now though is piling the pressure on, but he's just sitting behind. He's not attacking Calzo because he reckons, and he probably knows, that those tyres aren't going to make it to the end. He also knows that Lars is still yet to pit, and Lars surely will pit in the next couple of laps, but Lars doesn't even seem that bad at the moment. And look at that, Calzo pitting with Lars as well. So Calzo also sure that his tyres will not make it to the end, and that's a huge strategy call for Calzo. And look at that, Lars onto the soft, so that's another big strategy call. Got to take those 12 laps, should be possible, but how long will the softs last in terms of their proper, in terms of being quicker than any other tyre?
And Calzo didn't do a lot in qualifying, so I think he's made a big mistake with his strategy here. He's put the hard tyres on.
Well, I think that's him screwed then. For points anyway. I mean, I'll be surprised. I mean, it's Vanderbrug still yet to pit, and of course you've got Cherry Tupai at the moment looking for a move. Perhaps on Vanderbrug, is he going to go for it to the inside? This is very dangerous. Like I said at the start of the stream, very dangerous. Didn't get it off, but he went for it, he attempted it, backed out, and good mutual respect from both drivers not to cause an incident there. So good for Cherry 2 Pie, but he's attacking Svanderburg like mad. Oh, Cherry 2 Pie catching the curve a little bit there, and look at this now, all pressure for Calzo. Maybe I was wrong, Calzo looking for the points then, in fact, because of course Svanderburg still got to pit, but Cherry 2 Pie defending and recovering rather well.
Yeah, Cherry 2 Pie, slight mistake there, could have easily cost him, but manages to hold on to that 11th place. So we have a new race leader. We don't expect any of these front guys to be coming into the pits again. It's Boss Wanted, 1.8 seconds ahead of Koala. As Vanderburg finally, after 24 laps, gets rid of those hard tyres, he will come out on a fresh set of softs in last place. So we'll have to see how high up the field he can get. Last week's race winner, we thought it was a one-off. Koala's up in second place again, 3.5 seconds ahead of Ginger, who's not been able to drop Calsper, and Zach still holding on to 5th place at the moment. You can see Toxic not able to get ahead of him, and Young Power not really catching up either at this moment in time. It won't be too long before Young Power has Lars all over the back of him. Lars has got to do what we saw Calzo and Ginger do earlier on. He's just got to attack where he gets an opportunity, because he's only 6.7 seconds off a potential podium here.
Yeah, he's very close. It's very difficult to overtake on this track, so he needs to make sure he gets it done nice and quick. Look at Young Power. He is his first target here to strike. Whether he'll get him on this lap, I wonder. At the end of this lap, he should definitely have the grip advantage, and he's definitely pushing for it now. He will have the DRS. Young Power won't. This is going to be interesting. As he keeps coming, he's coming closer. Young Power thinking about defending. He's still thinking about it. Last to the inside then. It's very close, a little bit of contact there between the two of them, not too much, and it's very close, squeezing in Young Power, and well, that was very close for Lars, and Lars needs to get past him quickly, maybe focusing on the exit. He's not going to get it done yet, but look at this, he's got such an advantage through here, got to be careful, like I said, we've seen Cherry 2 Pie do it here, side by side through turn 7. Here we go, very close between the two of them. Wheel banging onto the edge of the circuit. They're using all the track available. And Lars gets the position, but how much time has that lost him? And oh, the Renault there looking to come back, and it didn't quite work, and he's lost an end plate, I think. So Lars gets the move done. However, he's lost quite a bit of time from that.
Yeah, definitely. I think he wanted to get it done a bit earlier than that. Young Power tried everything, and it just shows you can just about fit 2 cars side by side through turn 7 on the run down to turn 8, but in the end Young Power locked up ever so slightly and went into the back of Lars. He's lost his front wing end plate on the left hand side with only 10 laps to go. Is he going to try and hold it on to try and get a point in this race, because Calzo just 3.3 seconds behind, so might be difficult for him. Out in front, gap coming down ever so slightly. Koala 1.4 seconds behind Boss Wanted. A further 3 seconds back is Ginger at this moment in time, and you can see Calsper's still hanging on there in the final lap or two. Wouldn't surprise me if the McLaren thinks about having a go at Ginger once again.
Yeah, I think he will, because the medium tyres are going to only get worse than the hard tyres really at this point. Both are obviously going to degrade, of course, by the end of the race, but oh, and we see Svanderburg out. Oh, that's an interesting place. Safety car or virtual safety car? Safety car it is, so here we go then. So I reckon everyone is now going to pit onto the SOS. This is not good news for Lars, because obviously everyone's going to be slower. So for Lars, he will make up some positions, I reckon. But if he wanted to get a podium, maybe this is the way, but maybe not the way either, because obviously everyone's going to be on the SOS, and everyone's going to be on fresher SOS than Lars as well. So everyone will be into the pits surely now, jumping it up to get into the pits. Boss Wanted, Koala, Ginger now coming in, Calsper stays out. So this is an interesting strategy from Calsper. Everyone else decides to pit except from Calsper. So Calsper thinks those hard tyres are good enough to go to the end, and the soft tyres will not be in effect. I was wrong about Lars. I thought he would come in earlier, but I think because of Calsper, Lars now leads this race from the soft tyres point of view anyway. Calsper leading, but this is going to be another tasty one here, because you've got Boss Wanted on the fresh softs, you've got Lars on the worn softs, which are going to degrade towards the end, and you've got Calsper on the hards here. And let's not forget Koala, Ginger, and I think Zach as well. All of them have not got penalties, and I'm not sure about Toxic. Maybe he hasn't got penalties as well, and that could play another big part in who wins this race.
How many times have we seen it this season? Late safety cars really affect you if you've got a penalty. So Kalsper in the lead, staying out once again, going for that track position, but he's got Lars behind him on 3-lap-old soft tyres, which will comfortably make it to the end. Pretty much everyone else came into the pits, apart from, we know the top two didn't, Super Mario staying out as well. He was a long way off the back of the field, so I think he's just thought, I'll try something a bit different here and hope that it works. He's on the hard tyres. He might find it a bit difficult at the start, but I don't see a way Kalsper crosses the finish line first here. I don't see him. We've seen the moves Lars is willing to prove off. It was a fantastic move on Young Power into turn 7. And also, let's not forget, the hard tyres really do not like heating up under the safety car, especially when they're 14 laps old. He's going to struggle like mad for temperature, and perhaps that first lap is going to be the best opportunity for Lars to get the move done if he wants to get the win of this race.
I think even when you restart, of course, Kalsper's going to probably go right to the line. Like you said, the tyres are going to be cold. So once he goes and Lars thinks he's gone and everything, Lars is going to get so much more heat and so much more pace into the tyres. He may think about sending it into turn 1 if possible. Super Mario came into the pits for the soft, so he's waited an extra lap to do so. He will catch up to the back of the pack. This is now a really interesting one, because like I said, everyone's on fresh softs, except from Lars, who's on worn softs, which will make it to the end, but obviously will be generally worse than I reckon Boss Wanted's or Koalas would be. You've got Kalsper on the hards, gambling to stay out in front, I reckon, or damage limitation perhaps, but for Kalsper, I think he would be looking at this again and probably face palming a little bit, thinking, oh, what have I done? Everyone else is on the softs except me. I'm going to get poached off the line, and, well, he's got 7 laps to make it to the line. I just cannot see Kalsper winning this race. I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't even be surprised if he ends up docking out the points, because those hards are just going to be so much worse than the soft tyres.
Maybe definitely off of the podium here, so we'll quickly try and check some of the penalties for these top drivers. Kalsper kept it absolutely clean. Lars also as well, he's learning. He's actually picked up 2 warnings, so not too far off a penalty. Boss Wanted got a penalty straight away on lap 1, I believe. Koala has also managed to keep it clean. We'll check Ginger. He's clean as well, so out of these top 5 drivers, it's only Boss Wanted who has a penalty at the moment. Safety car coming in this lap. Kalsper, who was 4th before the safety car period, decided not to pit. Him and Lars, the only 2 to do so. Lars, not surprising, seeing as he's on the soft tyres that are only 4 laps old. And you can see how much Kalsper's weaving here to try and get some heat into these tyres, leaving it very late indeed. Now he's gone. That's caught Lars out ever so slightly, so he's not going to be able to have a move down into turn 1. Black Phoenix trying to go round the outside of Toxic there. He's gone very deep indeed. Koala's managed to get ahead of Boss Wanted. That's a great move from him, and Boss Wanted in the end dropping behind Ginger as well. So it's Kalsper still leading. Lars second, Koala now in 3rd position, and Ginger, Boss Wanted, Zach, Toxic, Calzo, Young Power, Cherry 2 Pie, Black Phoenix. Very optimistic move from him. Has dropped him a long way down the field here, and Lars not able to get alongside Kalsper through there. You've now got Calzo and Young Power battling as well, and Young Power's dropped down into 10th position. He's going to drop outside the points, and he's very lucky not to lose the car entirely here, as he's got Cohen trying to get alongside him and not able to do so. So Kalsper is held on for the first lap, but I think once DRS gets activated at the end of lap 31, he's going to have 5 very tricky laps to try and keep Lars behind him, and he might only get as far as turn 1 on lap 33, won't it, I think, when we see the second time around when they get DRS.
Maybe even at the end of here, the soft tyres, maybe he's already closing, already using overtaking, already it looks like the position is going to be Lars. Very close, not much pace out of these 2 anymore, but as you can see, he can brake later on the soft tyres to the outside. Oh, he's pushed him off a little bit. Kalsper there. Kalsper really defending the position. Koala looking very likely to win this race, really. Lars at the moment, though, really needs to get past Kalsper, and you can see how desperate he was into turn 1. Braking much later, looking to the outside, and just getting pushed slightly off by Kalsper here. So Kalsper's doing well considering he's on the hard tyres, but surely, like you said, when the DRS gets opened, it's completely game over for Kalsper. Surely he's not going to go on to win this race. That would be remarkable.
Yeah, he's going to have to...
Oh, Lars! Lars has spun the car. It looks like he's spinning halfway through the corner. This is another thing that's helped. That has helped Kausper because he's kept second place. Look at this now, Koala looking for the position. This is interesting now. Koala's not got it. So, and Koala's been hit behind as well. Chaos now in this race. And look at Toxic now coming through. Toxic up to 4th place, looking for 3rd. Patience.
But he's got damage.
Patience. And he's got damage. Everyone's getting damage.
The Toxic hasn't got damage, sorry, but I definitely saw part of a front wing fly off. It was Ginger, so it's Ginger who's got the damage. Boss Wanted has dropped back. Young Power's been disqualified for ignoring the drive-through penalty. Koala nearly getting taken. Really losing his front wing, and that all stemmed from Lars. It was a fantastic drift. It definitely wasn't the quickest way around that corner. It looked spectacular, but all of a sudden, Kausper's got a 2-second lead, and Lars is going to have to do so much defending here. The miracle that Kausper was clearly praying for during the safety car period might have just happened.
Well, look at this though. Lars on 7-lap old sauce. They're not going to be in their prime much longer. In fact, they may have gone. Koala needs to get moving. He needs to get pushing. Past Lars immediately. If he wants to win this race, that's the way to do it. He's now 1.9 seconds. He's losing time, Lars. A slight drift and everything has lost him even more time. And Koala is not getting past Lars at the right point. So Kausper's miracle seems to be paying off, and it looks like Kausper now is the favourite to win this race all of a sudden.
A lot could depend here. Can Koala get ahead of Lars? Because if he can, he's got the much fresher soft tyres, but he's going to have to close up the best part of 2.5 seconds here, coming in with 4 laps remaining. You can see Lars having to go very defensive here, and Koala didn't really choose a side. He wasn't sure whether to go for the outside or the inside, and nearly ended up hitting Lars up the backside. Stays behind him for now. The longer this goes on, the more likely it is Kausper's winning this race, and all these guys from second down to last place at the moment, all in this DRS train. Kausper's just wondering what's going on behind him. He's looking nice and chilled at the moment, and Lars somehow holding on to that position once again. And Koala, gotta say, a bit indecisive there. He wasn't quite sure which way to go and ended up picking neither.
This is a race win we're on about, and Koala needs to make the move immediately. He's lost probably a huge opportunity now because his tyres are going to wear much quicker now, and they degrade quickly on this track. They degrade fastly on the softs, and he's late on the DRS as well. He's probably panicking a little bit of how to get past Lars and overthinking it a little bit. So Koala really needs to snap out of it and get past Lars immediately. Otherwise, this race is over. It may have already been over already, but Lars at the moment, he's not closing to Kausper anymore, and Koala is not closing to Lars either. So maybe Koala's just missed his golden opportunity.
He very well could have done, because you can see he's not anywhere near as close as he was to Lars last time around. Couldn't get alongside, and pretty much no one behind him either. Boss Wanted looking very close to the back of Toxic, not able to do anything about it. Black Phoenix trying to recover. He was involved in this lead battle earlier on in the race, as was Zach. They're currently 8th and 10th with Cherry 2-Pie in between them. Black Phoenix trying to get a very good exit out of turn 3. No ERS, so he'll be clipping on that Williams at the moment. You can see the red lights flashing on the back of both of these cars. He's just not able to get a move done. The lead at the front of the race, 2.1 seconds with 2 and a bit laps to go. Unless Kausper makes a mistake now, you've got to think it is his race, as Calzo just ran ever so slightly wide there. Zach not able to get alongside him, and again Koala, he's not going to be close enough to really have a go into the chicane here at 11 and 12. He's got to get it lined up through this final couple of corners if he wants to have a go at Lars, because he'll have so much fresher tyres at the moment, but he's probably just run out of laps to be able to do anything about the win of this race. The lead gap with 2 laps to go, 2.6 seconds.
Well, this is crucial now. He must get past it. Lars using up all his ERS. Both of them using up all their ERS. Here comes Koala then. Needs to pull to the outside. Brake later. Go to the outside and get the move done. He's gone to the outside. He's got so much better traction than Lars. Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Now he needs to rush. He needs to run after it now, pretty much. He needs to get within the second, pretty much, on this lap. I'm not sure how he'll be able to do that, but it's happened before. He really needs to close in a second and a half, really, to have any sort of chance of winning this race. Kausper has he's just been so unfortunate in this race towards the end. Lars drifting around the corner, Koala being quite naive with his overtaking. It's cost Koala a race win, and it's given Kausper another race win. It looks like anything can happen though. There's one more lap to go after this lap, and Koala's on the hunt still, but it looks very doubtful. Let's not forget there's still a battle for 4th place behind. Ginger looking to the outside then, and going over the bump there is Toxic. Toxic looking for 4th place, and a lot of battling going on behind, and this is for 4th place. It's a humongous train, so watch out for this one. Did you say Ginger had damage? He does have damage. So actually now Boss Wanted is in the front house seat to get 5th place here. It looks like Ginger at the moment seems to be fine with that damage. And look to the outside now. Calzo going to the outside, breaking it a little later, but just unable to get the position done. And, well, they're still side by side, these two. This could be very dangerous going side by side through here. I think everyone's got through. Boss Wanted losing out again and going very wide and losing the position to Calzo and going down to 7th place. So a lot of position changing and maybe another position changing. Oh, and Cherry Tupai out of it then, sector 1. No safety car would be involved, no virtual safety car. Final lap, there was a little bit of dust going up, but it looks like, without a doubt now, Kalsper's going to win another race this season. Koala, though, getting another podium. So Koala coming out of nowhere in the last 2 races, getting 2 podiums in a row.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 2 podiums in a row for Koala. I think Cherry Tupai and Black Phoenix was just a bit of wheel banging coming down through turns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 through that S section, and it's gone bad for him. It's gone absolutely perfect after the safety car for Kalsper. He takes his 4th win of the season here. Kalsper with the victory. Koala crossing the line in 2nd. Lars gets another podium. Toxic 4th. Ginger holding on to 5th place. Calzo 6th, and Zach, Black Phoenix and Super Mario all jumping ahead of Boss Wanted. Cohen gets his first finish of the season, but just misses out on the points. Cherry Tupai, with that broken front wing, finishes in 12th place. I don't think he'll be happy whatsoever about that, but one man will be absolutely beaming at the moment. Kalsper with a victory that looked so unlikely until we got to the point where the game's driver of the day, Lars, just did that drift through turn 10, and for whatever reason, Koala and Ginger just weren't able to make their way through.
Oh my word. I mean, Kalsper, he's on the hard tyres. It's an honest steal from him. I don't know how Lars didn't win this, how Koala didn't win this. He's on 20 lap of hards at the end of the day, and basically people like Koala, they were on fresh hards, and I mean, I have no words really. I can't believe Kalsper's won again, 4 times out of 6. At this point, I just think he's unstoppable. I thought it was the wrong call. I thought that, well, we both thought that not even a podium would have been possible for Kalsper, but he's won by 2 seconds here, quite incredibly, and Lars gets a podium and the fastest lap, so good on him, and a brilliant result really, 17th to 3rd, so big ups to Lars, but oh my goodness, Kalsper, I don't know how he's won that.
Yeah, well, we'll be able to hear shortly, hopefully, how he won it as well. So Kalsper taking the victory from pole position. That makes it sound straightforward. It was anything but. Koala, 2nd podium in a row. Lars, 3rd place in the fastest lap. Probably not a consolation. I'm sure he thinks that victory should have been him. Toxic, his best result of the season in 4th. Ginger taking 5th despite that front wing damage. Calzo, 3 stops in the end. Still managed to gain 9 places. Finishes in 6th. Zach is in 7th. And unfortunately, the results got cut off there, as I think we had a host migration. But we are going to try and get the top 3 in there for the podium interviews. And I'm sure there'll be some mixed emotions there, because Kalsper, he'll just, I think relief might be his main emotion more than anything after that race. Koala will be delighted with the podium, but Lars, another race where he might think he should have won.
place. So that's another surprise to me. I wasn't expecting Koala to get another podium, considering beforehand he's been in the midfield, but he wasn't really anything special. Weren't really getting anywhere. So 2 huge surprises there, and well, Lars third, Koala second, and Kasper once again first place 4 times now.
Yeah, and he has just joined the party, so congratulations to Kasper. 4th win of the season, and being honest, when that safety car came out and you stayed out on track, was you expected to be holding on to that victory?
Not really, to be honest, because seeing the amount of soft runners behind me, I knew it was going to be tough, but I know that softs tend to overheat quite a bit, and I know I can push on my hards, and I can easily take them to the end. So I had to defend very hard against Lars, and unfortunately for him, there was contact into turn 1, which forced him into the gravel, I think. I have to look over the footage again, but other than that, I'd say that was a solid race for me.
Yeah, great race, and exactly what you needed after the last 2 races, which I think it's fair to say didn't go to plan. Were you worried that it might be a bit like Belgium and maybe you made a mistake again not to go into the pits, or were you always fairly confident with the decision?
I feel like, because obviously Belgium had a change of weather conditions, that was going to be the turning point. And with this race being confirmed as dry, I knew that I was going to make the right decision this time. I thought I made it last week, didn't work out, but this week I definitely knew that this was going to be the one.
Yeah, definitely. So great result from yourself, and then extended your championship lead, obviously. I think it is now Lars, actually, who's currently in 2nd position, but you've got back to more than a win on race lead after 6 races of the season. Italy next time out, very high speed circuit. You feeling confident for that one?
Yeah, you've always got to feel confident going into these races, but I'd like to think that my pace can carry throughout every circuit that I go to every race of the season.
Yeah, and you seem to have done well so far, so congratulations to yourself on the victory. We have got the man who finished then 3rd in this race, and that is Lars. Firstly, absolutely fantastic drift through turn 10, because me and Sam both thought you'd spun there and that was any chance of you getting points over.
Yeah. First of all, this time I'm earlier in the party for the interviews. But yeah, the quality was actually so weird, man. But yeah, recovered very well.
Yeah, recovered very well. Got that 3rd position. Did you ever consider pitting under the safety car? Because obviously you'd only just put the soft tyres on, so we were thinking there's no point. I might as well last with these, because as you saw, they did comfortably last to the end.
Yeah, I did.
And another good job from yourself today, because penalties have cost you quite a few times this season. Managing to keep it nice and clean, getting another podium. You've got to think that first win is coming soon, because you've definitely shown you've got the pace for it. Do you think maybe next time out in Italy?
Yeah, I hope so. Italy is a very great track. I hope I can this time win.
Yeah, we'll have to see if you do get another good result there. Sam, do you have any questions either for the first and third place finishers?
Not really.
Right, no worries. So, cheers to both of you for joining in, and cheers for what was for quite a bit, I think, until Lars had that little bit of a slide. But it was a fantastic battle for us guys to watch, and I'm sure everyone who's watching at home enjoyed it as well.
It's been a pleasure.
So, Sam, fantastic race. Once again, around Holland. Another, again, a late safety car really spices these races up quite a bit, because it was looking as if it was going to be Boss Wanted Koala again, who still managed to finish second place in the end. And we have actually, I think Koala has actually just joined us, the man who finished in second place, and your form seems to have shot up all of a sudden once again. You were looking good for a podium before the safety car, and you still managed to finish on one after the safety car. Yeah, definitely worked very well for yourself. Do you think there's been much change all of a sudden? Because, as we saw, you got the win last time out in Belgium, maybe a bit of fortune, but as I said today, even before the safety car, you could have possibly still managed to get a podium or a very good points result. Do you feel a bit more confident with the game now and confident on this grid? Yeah, definitely. And next time out, it is the Italian Grand Prix. I've asked this question to everyone else who's got on the podium. You're feeling confident about that because Italy, it's a pretty unique circuit. There's not really any other track like it, just with the pure average speed of the place. Well, hopefully you managed to do a bit better at Monza than Ferrari have done. And Sam, do you have any questions for Koala?
Again, no questions.
No worries. So yeah, cheers Koala for joining us. And as we were saying, Sam, another late safety car, another fantastic race around Holland, despite the fact that there was no wet weather, and we were wondering again, would there be any rain? And Spanderbrook, with that late accident, unintentionally led to a fantastic finish. I think one driver who'll be feeling a bit gutted was Boss Wanted, because obviously he was leading before that safety car, and as it bunched everyone up and he had a penalty, he only finished in 10th.
Yeah, he got a very slow start, Boss Wanted, off the restart, and that really screwed him up a little bit. Lost a few positions into the first corner, but if anyone says that the safety car, I just want to say this now, if anyone thinks that the safety car should go from like PSGL, or there should be a rule where the safety car is off and everything, because I know it has like issues and everything. I know it like has its problems and glitches and everything, but tonight and last week at Belgium just showed, like, you know, how much the safety car can shake up the grid. And although we got the same winner for the fourth time in Kalsper, it obviously wasn't as easy as that. It could have easily been Lars, it could have been Koala, it could have been Boss Wanted, it could have been anyone. So again, it shows, like, you know, how exciting the safety car can be. So I just wanted to get that one out there.
Yeah, definitely did make things very exciting here, but it is Kalsper who takes his fourth win of the season back on the top step after struggling in the last couple of races, and he'll be hoping to keep this form on once again at Italy, the race which pretty much marks the halfway point of this PSGL season already. It will be round 7 of the season. We'll be at the Osromo Nazionale Monza, the fastest circuit in Formula 1 for that Italian Grand Prix. So make sure to check that out again. Same time, same place next week, 8 PM on Monday. So there is still one more race to go around the Zandvoort circuit, and that will be Formula Performance, the Realistic Car League. That will be tomorrow night at 8 PM. And we'll see the first Monza races on Thursday and Sunday before we join the action on Monday. So thanks again for Sam for joining us. Thanks for everyone for joining us for the podium interviews. Thank you guys for watching, as well. Thanks also to our partners here at PSGL, Brutal Democracy, who are providing prizes for the top 3 divisions. And you've got to say, Calspur's looking pretty good for that £20 championship prize at the moment. Will he be able to keep on his good run at Italy, or will we see another twist in this season? Good night.